One of the biggest keys to improvement in Fortnite is identifying your weaknesses, that way you know how to improve. If you don't know the key points as to why you're struggling, then how are you going to improve on your weaknesses? Well, in this video, I'm going to be giving you a guide on how to find what your weak points are. And to do this, I'm going to embarrass myself like crazy by going over all of my deaths. We'll go over some solo arena games and then some solo scrims at the end. Before we hop into it, please consider using code JivanTV in the Fortnite item shop, or at least make sure you're using somebody's code. Without further ado, let's get into this video. First thing, and one of the biggest things a lot of people do wrong, is taking 50-50s when you really don't have to. I gave up almost all my health and didn't even finish the kill, and then I just got cleaned up by a different player. All I had to do was set up peeks from the outside and I would have been chilling. This is a mentality thing. You gotta train yourself not to take 50-50s when you don't have to. Only do it if you have a major health advantage. In this next clip, I died because of bad aim. Consistency in my aim is one of the biggest things I struggle with in my game, and if you notice yourself missing a lot of shots, dying because you miss shots, or even just having bad accuracy with one gun, then hop into Raiders 1v1 aim trainer or the headshot only 200 pump map. Both codes are linked in the description. In this next game, I died because of bad positioning off spawn. Lazy was the hot drop this game, so I knew there were a ton of players, and instead of rotating around an outskirt or getting good positioning on high ground somewhere, I positioned myself right in between everyone, and so I got collapsed on. This next clip is something that you need to train yourself not to do. Always set up optimal edits. Even if you're about to hit a clip or something and you want to open a wide edit, it's always better to make a window or a top right triangle peek. This would have been a nasty clip, but I messed it up because bad edit. The next major weakness is not timing your shotgun shots right or rushing it. One big skill that you need to build in the game is trigger discipline. This means being patient with your shots and only clicking that shoot button when you really have it lined up. You can practice this in aim duels or Raiders 1v1 aim trainer. As you can see in this clip, it's a similar situation. I rushed my shot so much that it didn't even shoot. Getting the timing of a shotgun shot down is so crucial, because if you rush it like I did here, you're gonna die because it won't shoot. In this next clip, what went wrong was that I did not use piece control from behind cover. If you ever try to piece control someone and they shoot you while you're piece controlling them, that means that you need to practice piece control from behind cover. If you need a full guide on how to do that concept, I have plenty of tutorials on it. You need to practice those techniques in Raiders piece control practice map. What I should have done here was held the edit longer until I was off to the side behind my wall peak. Then I could have gotten the cone over him and set up a safe peek shot, but instead, I died. Here's another similar example. In this clip, I did a normal mongrel edit that is not optimal. People make this mistake all the time. The better way to do a mongrel is through a window behind your window peak. That way, as soon as you confirm the edit, you're behind your window and you can take a peek shot. Now, if you die in situations like this a lot, where you're simply missing a crucial edit and you take a big chunk of damage, then that means you probably need to either practice your free building, edit coursing in Raiders maps, or in Raiders piece control practice map. Doing that every day can help make it so that you don't choke edits like I did here. In this next clip, you'll see while I was building up to the enemy here, I took damage from the right. If you take damage while build fighting enemies from angles that you don't expect, then that means you may want to learn some more protected retakes. I have lots of piece control high ground retake tutorials that'll really elevate your game. Just search piece control high ground retakes, JivanTV. So if any of those things sound like you should add that to your warm-up routine every day, whether it's learning new retakes, practicing your aim, or any of the other things I said. Add it to your warm-up routine. In the long run, this will help you out a lot. But now that we covered a lot of mistakes we have in fighting and in arena, we're gonna go over some endgame stuff by VOD reviewing this scrim footage. Every single endgame is very different, and so I'm just going to show you how I approach VOD reviewing. We're going to go over 2 games, that way you can gain an understanding of how to go over your own solo cash cup footage or whatever it may be. So I had really good positioning in half and half zone here because I was able to look back at everybody rotating in. And then I just started my moving zone rotate super early, which is good, especially since I was in a bad spot to see what was going on around me. I got a good layer, got ahead, that way I could rotate and know where I was going. So from there, I really didn't see many people on front side of moving zone. So I just got moving right away. I dropped to a low ground layer and I saved some mats by swimming. At this point is kind of the place where I feel I messed up this game. I got to a good layer and I was down to around 300 mats, so I needed to start looking for refreshes, but I sent the wrong player. This guy was still moving forward, and at this point I needed a refresh, so I should have looked back and looked for people swimming by me, or simply gotten all the way into zone and then started looking for refreshes. Either one would have been better than what I did here. Once I got some minis off, I just had to start my rotate, and I played back edge of zone because I was kind of low on mats and I was looking for a refresh. I was having a lot of trouble finding anybody, and so at this point I just look for an opportunity to pop my medkit, which I think was the right play here. That way I could play Storm for a little bit and find people hiding on back edge of zone. After I popped the medkit, I started moving in, but I couldn't find anybody on back edge. I really didn't need to build much here. I should have just kept running in and saving those mats. Every single material counts when you're low on mats, so placing that stuff was just pointless. I managed to get a refresh eventually, but it was really poorly executed, so I think the main points from this game is that I need to get better at finding refreshes. The way I'm going to try to do this is by watching some pro solo cash cup footage and see how they manage to find their refreshes. That'll help me find more refreshes in the future. So yeah, that was my biggest mistake from this game. Let's check out one more game so that you can even get a better understanding of how to find your weaknesses in late game. So to start this match, I was in a good spot. All I had to do was cow a little bit into zone, but I decided to go all the way to the far edge of zone because that was going to be dead side. Nobody was shooting my cow, so I just went all the way in and it was chilling. There were two players fighting here, but I was smart. I didn't need to over contest that, so I just took some shots from a distance and called it a day. I still had really good mats, a launch pad, everything, so no need to risk that. The next zone pulled all the way across the map, and I was debating using a launch pad here or cowing to somebody else's launch pad, and I waited too long to start this rotate. I took storm damage for no reason, just a lack of decision making, which is something that I need to work on. But I managed to cow all the way to front edge of zone, so I was in a really good spot. I started looking around me for some potential box fights, but I still had really good mats, so I didn't want to over contest anything. There was someone boxed right next to me that seemed really scared, so I went for their wall and tried to get some shots, but they got away. So then I'm just looking for a place to launch pad here, and right as I'm about to hit my launch, I noticed somebody breaking out of a metal box next to me, and so that was a good opportunity to look for a refresh, but I messed it up. I should have piece controlled the box right in front of me, but instead I just went for a pre-fire, thinking that the other player was going to be more shambles than they were. So missed opportunity there, but I just got ahead after that. When I landed from this launch pad, I needed to go up a few layers. Nobody had high ground on this side of the map. I didn't even need to contest high ground. I just had to get off of that layer, because after I land, I'm literally just running from everybody around me trying to find a safe spot, and I burned through almost all my mats. Going up a few layers when I landed would have prevented that. I managed to make it to the next zone, and then I do a great job looking back for refreshes. This is what I should have done last game, exactly that. So I got that refresh, and then I just work on getting ahead again. Having a cow at this point in the game was clutch because I was just able to cow across zone all the way to front, probably saving me like 300 mats. I don't really know how I feel about cows. Like, I don't know if they're really actually that good or not, but it really worked well in this lobby, so I might have to try it out in the solo cash cup tomorrow. I feel like in a high tier lobby, like, you'll get shot out of the cow and absolutely fried, but I could be wrong. At this point, I'm on front edge of zone and I really need a refresh, down to like 9 builds. One mistake I made was a lack of awareness with how much AR ammo I had. If I knew I only had 20 AR, I would not have been spraying at this guy. Instead, I could have gone for a piece control play on him or something, but that probably wasn't the refresh I should have looked for. So in this last moving zone, I just had to stay ahead and play through old builds. I ended up using all of my builds here, and so I just had to rat out and try to find somebody rotating by. If I would have had AR ammo here, I would have been able to get the kill on the soccer skin. So that lack of awareness really actually hurt my game pretty badly here. I also ran right by a spaz and launch pad, but I panicked because I was so weak. I probably could have grabbed it, but there were bigger priorities at hand. I actually made a really nice play on this guy, but I'm pretty sure he either ducked my pump shot or my pump didn't shoot at all. Either way, that was the refresh to go for. It could have saved my game, but it ended up breaking my game. So biggest things from that game that I need to improve on is awareness to my ammo, faster decision making, and finding better layers, especially when landing from a launch pad. So now that you've seen me die a million times in a million different ways, I'm gonna end this video. But hopefully this video helped you get an understanding on how to find your weaknesses and how to improve on them. If it did, be sure to hit that like button, sub if you're new, use code JivanTV, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.